Hey everyone, Tyler here at The Movie Beat. Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be looking at the 1981 supernatural horror film, Suddenly in Dark Night. The new Blu-ray release is right around the corner from the On. It has been released before, but this is a new release, so I want to give you my thoughts on the film, and we're going to look at that Blu-ray, and hopefully this video will help you decide whether or not this is one you might want to pick up or not. So, like I said, it's a supernatural horror film, and it does have a dash of eroticism in it, kind of similar to the film The Housemaid from both the 1960 version and the 2010 version. Parasite and The Handmaiden to some extent. This film really has a strong element of class division in it, and there's this clash between old and new culture in Korea that really drives a lot of the dramatic tension in this movie. The film is about a woman named Sun-hee who lives very happily with her husband, who's a respected professor and entomologist now studying butterflies, and their young daughter in a large remote house. Her life changes one day when her husband brings home an attractive young woman named Miok, who will live in the house and work as their housemaid. Miok, the daughter of a shaman, lost her parents in a fire and carries just one possession to her name, a carved wooden statue of a mystical woman. The eerie statue disturbs Sun-hee, whose psychological well-being begins to unravel as she becomes consumed with paranoia, fear, and jealousy as she suspects her husband of having an affair with Miok. So first and foremost, this film is from 1981, and you might expect it to look old, but this is a 4K remastered print, and it is beautiful. This looked better than some films from the early 2000s that I've seen on Blu-ray. So there is a couple, like artifacts maybe here and there that are uncleanable. Might have been some kind of dust on the lens. There's one very small scene that the aspect ratio seems a little bit distorted, but other than that, this looks like a brand new movie. And besides some what I felt to be very harsh lighting in the movie, especially in some of the interiors that created some awkward shadows, this movie is beautifully framed and photographed. So that is a very huge point to this movie, a selling point. It just looks so good. Now with this movie also being a little bit older, the sound effects, while playing into the horror genre, can be a little bit old-timey and feel dated, perhaps even corny, but I was really surprised with the real variety of music in this movie, some working better than others. I particularly really liked the gothic synths and hypnotic hymns that came on at several times. So in those instances, there is some music that is just really holds up till today, and it was awesome. And as for the erotic nature of this movie, while it probably helped to market the film somewhat, it isn't gratuitous by any means. And don't get me wrong, I'll take unnecessary nudity any day, but all the sexuality in this film is used really well to emphasize the sexual tension that fuels Sun-hee's paranoia and eventual madness. So this aspect of the movie should be more of a turn on than turn off for people who might be sensitive to that. And while I'm not sure how far back the whole scary doll motif runs in horror cinema, you got to imagine that Suddenly in Dark Night is an early adopter of this. So I imagine that when this came out, it was probably very original and very scary. For us watching now, we've had all the scary dolls that we can imagine, Chucky, Annabelle, all that. But so it might come across as a little bit played and not as scary, but if you think back to when this came out, whoa. And while Suddenly in Dark Night is pretty tense, it's not particularly scary or brutal until it's like House of Horrors ending, which I loved. It just made everything so worthwhile. And there's some sequences that either play homage or rip off, depending on your viewpoint. The Shining, Suspiria, and The Birds. So think about that. It's like a blend of that with some Korean folk legend lore, mysticism. So pretty awesome style if you ask me. And the effects can look a little bit dated, but they were shot in a unique way that make it still hold up to this day. So if any of this sounds interesting, I think Suddenly in Dark Night might be a movie that you want to pick up and add to your Korean film home library, especially with the new Blu-ray release right around the corner from The On. If you haven't gotten any of the previously released editions yet, this one might be the way to go. The Mondo Macabro All-Region Edition, titled Suddenly in the Dark, has 2 exclusive special interviews, but the artwork, I feel, may not speak to everyone, so it's also a simple keep case from the looks of it. The new Korean edition from The On the other hand, has a full slipcase, and the design is, oh my god, it is gorgeous and way more fitting of the movie in my opinion. There aren't any special features to speak of though, so that's going to be something you want to consider. I actually own the first edition. This was actually released as part of the Wet collection. And the DP series, the DVD Prime series number 22. It's a cool edition. I have an unboxing video for this on the channel. I'll leave a link in the comments below. I do also really like the new artwork, so I'm glad I have this, but also kind of wanting that new one too. I don't think I'll be double dipping though, just at the moment. So let me know if this video helped you decide whether or not you want to pick up the new Suddenly in Dark Night 1981 supernatural horror erotic film from Korea. Until next time, I'm Tyler at The Movie Beat. Keep watching movies.